Hello and welcome to your weekly Game of Thrones show, Last Night's Watch. I'm Lauren O'Callaghan, and this week Andy's back.
I'm back. Yep, like Jon Snow, I was away for 2 episodes, but I've been resurrected. I've been washed and shaved by a woman with red hair and brought back to life. That's only joking. Just didn't have red hair. Okay, so this week we're going to be talking about Marjorie and Tommen. We're going to be talking about Samwell's distinctly awkward family dinner. First though, let's check in with Bran and his uncle Benjen. Your watch has begun.
Come with me, now. The dead don't rest.
As we predicted last week, Bran and Merra are still on the run. Hodor bought them some time, but the White Walkers are still after them. So yeah, someone had to step in, and it turned out to be Cold Hands, his Uncle Benjen.
Yeah, not a surprise to see Uncle Benjen back, I don't think. It's always, ever since the first series, it's been hinted at every now and again, is Uncle Benjen coming back. I think everyone probably knew he wasn't dead, right?
Yeah.
Like there was no point where you think, oh, he's just not in the show because he's dead. So
he's mysteriously missing, which is Game of Thrones code for he'll be back at some point.
Do you know why they call him Cold Hands?
I do actually.
Go on then,
is that
tell
my
me.
trivia question for
No,
this
I'm
week?
afraid not.
Oh, damn it.
Well, why do they call him Cold Hands?
Because when he went mysteriously missing and was about to be turned into a White Walker, the Children of the Forest stopped the transformation, but it had already kind of gotten going. So his hands, so he is kind of dead, a bit.
A bit dead.
Yeah, because in the books they talk about how he doesn't breathe, and Summer said that he smells of death, and so he has like cold black hands from where obviously he started to die, but he's not dead, but he's also not a White Walker.
I think it was pretty obvious as well that someone was going to have to come to the rescue of Bran and Merra, because although Hodor had bought them the time, I mean, surely they'd have busted through the door and given them, what, 5 minutes head start?
Yeah, not much. And I like watching this part of the episode, I felt really bad for Merra because she's obviously really upset, and she's upset she's lost Hodor, she's upset she can't really save Bran. Bran's not being very helpful. Okay, granted he can't really be, but she kind of gives up, and I was just like, I don't blame her.
So have you heard the theory about how Merra could be Jon Snow's sister, sorry?
I have heard it.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced personally.
Okay, well, I'm not entirely convinced, but here is like a little bit of evidence that may lead you to think that she could be. Now, there are 2 people who were alive when they find Jon Snow at the Tower of Joy. That's not even a thing anymore, is it? So, young Sean Bean's going up to the Tower of Joy to find Lyanna, his sister. She's obviously giving birth to Jon Snow, blah, blah, blah. Who else is there? Howland Reed.
Oh yeah.
Who's Merra's father.
Yeah.
Who's Merra's father.
So what, you think?
I think Lyanna had twins, and I think one of them's Jon Snow and one of them's Merra.
Oh.
One of the other things I want to talk about with Bran, actually, really interesting, when he was having his flashbacks, you saw the Mad King.
Yes.
Saying burn them all.
Burn them all, yeah.
Right? And that's the other theory, is that the Mad King was mad because Bran was inside his head.
Yeah.
So the prevailing theory goes Bran was inside the Mad King's head, or he was like flashing back to do what he does. And it's in the middle of like a battle where the White Walkers are attacking the wall, and someone shouts, burn them all, with the White Walkers attacking, and that's why the Mad King's shouting it, like in the same way that Hodor was going, hold the door, hold the door.
Yeah.
Right, well, without further ado, it's time to deal with our quiz question of the week. And what we should do, actually, is answer last week's question.
Yeah.
That caused a lot of consternation.
Yeah, so I didn't think it was that difficult, but last week I asked Matt how many brothers does Balon Greyjoy have in the books, because you know in the show that they're pretty much all written out. And he got it wrong, but a lot of...
Controversially?
Well, I don't think it's that controversial. You know, there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer. And the right answer is 8.
8.
He has 8 brothers. Like, some of them are half brothers, but they're still brothers. And yeah, you all got it wrong.
Apart from the insidious Taco, who got it spot on. He correctly identified that Balon had 8 brothers. Now, 5 of them were from his father, Caelon, I can't remember. Don't know how you pronounce it. From his second wife, he had 3 brothers from his first wife who didn't make it through to adulthood, and Caelon married a 3rd time and had 1 son who died in childhood as well. Yeah. So that totals 8.
Yeah.
So it's my turn to ask you a question.
Okay.
Let's hope we get this one correct. It was literally in this week's episode, so let's go for it.
This is going to be embarrassing, isn't it?
Samwell Tarly had an awkward dinner with his dad and his brother.
Yes.
What was the name of the sword he stole at the end?
I knew you were going to ask me this.
Oh, really?
Well,
you should have prepared the answer then.
I knew it. It was something heart.
Make a guess.
Oh.
Go on, make a guess. People are screaming at you right now.
I know.
Okay, well, if you think you know the answer, you've taken too long. If you think you know the answer...
Braveheart.
That isn't Braveheart, drop it in the comments below. Now, let's move on to talk about what's going on with Tommen and Marjorie.
I've missed you. More than you could know.
We'll be together again soon. And everything will be better than it was before.
So, Marjorie was all set to do her walk of atonement. Didn't happen. We thought it wasn't going to happen because House Tyrell wasn't going to let it. But actually, it turns out that she kind of manipulated behind the scenes a little bit to get out of it by bringing her husband Tommen over to the religious side.
So you think Marjorie's faking out, right? She hasn't turned all religious overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I think Marjorie is actually too much like Cersei, and she's very good at controlling and power and using what she has. And I think, after a few months in the Sept dungeon, she realised that no one was going to be busting her out. She had to do it on her own, and the way for her to do that was to play along. And she's very good at that. We've seen her be very good at that before. There was part of me that was a little bit like, maybe she believes it, but then as soon as she mentioned her brother, I was just like, she would never abandon her brother.
Because the last time we saw them, she was like cradling her brother, saying, we've got to get out of here, both of us, we've got to do it together. I do think you're right. I genuinely think that she's not fallen in with the Sparrows at all, and she has just used it to get out. It puts both her family and Jamie in a very awkward position. Yeah. Because, Jamie came to bust her out, and like her grandmother says, I mean, the High Sparrow has, in a sense, won. Won, yeah. Because he's got the common people on side, and he's got like this story to tell, and his message is, I have united the crown and the state. And there's Tommen there going, oh, hello, people. Yeah. I'm brilliant.
Tommen, the most easily manipulated character in all of Game of Thrones. I do as well.
He's enough to drive me away from Team Lannister. What?
You're still Team Lannister? Yeah. All right, okay, fine.
How roguish and awesome Jamie is.
No, but the thing I really liked about this is after Tommen did his speech and everything, he had Marjorie on one side holding his hand and then the Sparrow on the other, and I actually for a moment thought the High Sparrow was just going to reach out and put his hand on his shoulder, as if it wasn't obvious enough that he was now in control of the situation through Tommen.
I thought you were going to say he was going to reach out and do mic drop.
Or that would have been good too. He might as well have done, and Jamie knew it. You could see it in Jamie's eyes that he'd won, and it was just kind of over. So,
where do we go from here? Because it's not over with the Sparrows, and we know because the teaser trailer that aired before season 6, it showed Gregor Clegane murdering a bunch of Sparrows.
True.
So it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So they're still going to get theirs. No. I'm desperate to see it.
Yeah, I was kind of wanting a battle here. I was a little bit disappointed that it kind of went off without any bloodshed whatsoever.
0 body count this week.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. Yeah. Now, just one thing to throw in.
Okay.
You're going to hate me for saying that.
I know exactly what you're going to talk about.
Are you?
Yeah.
Go on then, you do it for me.
Andy's going to sit here and he's going to make a very, very good argument about how Clegane Bowl is going to happen, because he's obsessed with Clegane Bowl. And really he won't leave off until Clegane Bowl happens.
Well, Cersei mentioned she's going to have a trial by combat
again. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. All right. Okay, now that I've been completely outplayed, let's move on to our favourite line of the week, and it comes from when Sam is taking Gilly to meet his father.
What did you tell your family about me?
I told them I met you in the north.
Did you tell them how far north?
Well, it wasn't a very large piece of parchment.
He basically just turned around her in a carriage and said, the dog ate my homework. The piece of parchment was only so big. I'm sorry, I couldn't really go into details about how we met. Excuses.
Which dog? Which dog was it? His homework? Was it Ghost? Okay, well, with that awkward joke out of the way, let's talk about the awkward dinner between Randall Tarley and his sons Sam and Dickon.
This venison, it's very tasty. Is it from today's hunt?
Well, no, we haven't been able to cure that one yet. This is last week's.
Oh, of course, sorry. Long journey.
So Sam's gone home to Horn Hill, and his reception was about as frosty as could be expected,
Yeah.
really. I feel, again, like Sam's the character who you're all supposed to feel sorry for, and I'm a little bit disappointed in that, because Sam was well, I say disappointed. Sam's been growing into his own character on the wall,
Yeah.
and while he's not like the traditional figure of heroism, he's someone who you could sort of root for and associate with. And when he came back, and obviously there's a lot of pressure, like his dad completely crushed him again
Yeah, but
until right at the end of the scene.
Yeah, but that makes sense though, because like we're all kind of a bit like that. Like, you know, you kind of go back to your parents and you kind of revert back to how you used to be then. Like, no matter how long it's been since you've left home, it happens to all of us. So that kind of made sense to me. Like, of course he's going to revert back to how he felt then, because his dad has that power over him. And yeah, it was great that we saw kind of at the end of the episode that no, he wasn't that person anymore, and he was capable of like making those like tough or strong decisions. But the dinner scene, as awkward as it was, it kind of made sense to me.
So awkward, wasn't
Oh
it?
God.
Oh, it's really
I
bad.
it was painful to watch. Like I had to turn away at points. I was just like, oh no.
I always thought Gilly was going to stick up for him. I
Yeah,
thought
definitely.
It was definitely coming.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. And I also knew that wouldn't have gone down very well.
No, no. It's fairly predictable that he wasn't going to like it.
Yeah.
And you're almost sort of screaming at the TV. You're going, "Oh God, Sam, just tell him about the time you
know.
slew the White Walker."
Yeah, no.
And you know, Gilly came in and did it for him.
Especially when like his dad was like, "It, I'm having dinner with it." I was like, who's it? Come on,
Hello?
Sam, say something.
Yeah. But you know, he didn't stick up for it until right at the very end when, well, where are they going to go now? I mean, he's got his dad's sword, which is Valyrian steel, which does kill White Walkers.
Yes,
So are they
convenient.
going back to the wall, or are they continuing to Old Town?
Well, they're not going to be let in to where you train to be a maester with a woman and child. Like that's
Old
the whole
Town.
reason. Yeah, that's the whole reason that they weren't going with him to begin with. So yeah,
Here's an interesting thing from the books.
okay.
In the books, now, because I'm reading Feast for Crows at the moment, the voyage over on the sea, Gilly won't stop crying, and she's got the baby with her, and she's going, oh, blah, 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 you know. And Sam asks Maester Aemon, who's also with them, why won't she stop crying? And Maester says, well, can't you see? And it turns out that she's been given the baby, she's been given Mance Raider's child, because
Oh,
her
God,
child
yeah.
and Mance's child are at the wall at the same time, and Jon Snow gives Gilly Mance's child because he fears that Melisandre is going to slay
Yeah.
him as like king's blood.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So in the books, it's very, very different. That is Mance Raider's child. It's not Sam's child. Whereas
Yeah.
in the TV show,
So what
they
hap-
sort of glossed over it a bit.
What happened to Gilly's child then?
She's been looked after at the wall, but I haven't got
He's
to that
been
bit.
looked after at the wall.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it paints Jon Snow in quite a negative light, which
Yeah.
is probably the reason they glossed over it.
Yeah, and also in the show, Mance Raider doesn't have a child, so you know there's kind of no point. But yeah, I completely forgot about that actually.
Yeah, so just a little interesting aside. It would have made the scene slightly different if they'd have introduced that, but you didn't. Okay, well, with that awkward conversation about the awkward dinner out of the way, let's move on to what's going to happen next week. Lauren, we're back with the Freys next week.
The Freys are back.
The
Boo,
twins.
hiss, we hate them.
That is going to be quite a big plot line, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because Jamie's been sent up there now as well.
I think, here's what I think about it. I think Jamie's been sent up to deal with the Freys. Now, he's lost a lot of faith in, well, he doesn't know whose side he's on anymore. He just knows he's on his own side and Cersei's side. Now, what if Lady Stoneheart is at River Run
I would love that.
and Jamie likes Catelyn Stark because she set him free?
Yeah.
So maybe they join forces
Yeah.
and then take on the Freys together.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Also, Brienne's
That'd
going to
be
be
cool.
there, and we know that he likes her.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah.
Yeah, back together with Brienne.
Yeah. What's Tommen going to say?
Oh, Tormund. Hashtag jealousy. I don't do hashtags. What else is going to happen next week? Ramsay's going to be back, surely?
Yeah,
More
well,
scheming?
we didn't see anything of Jon and Sansa this week, but I think next week we're going to rejoin them, and they're going to be going about their plan of trying to convince all the like slightly smaller northern houses to join them. And I know we saw in the original trailer like a clip of the Onion Knight.
To Davos.
Yep. Talking about the White Walkers and how no one can escape them. So I think that's going to be part of their argument as well. The idea that yes, Ramsay is an arsehole, but we are going to have to deal with this army coming down from the north as well, and we're going to have a united north for that.
You know what's going to happen next week as well?
What?
Yeah. The Hound's back next week. I'm telling you, the Hound is back next week. The next episode is called The Broken Man.
Will you stop talking about it when the Hound comes back next week? Maybe.
No. Like, he's coming back because in the books where Brienne is searching for the Hound, she joins up with Holy Man, and they're talking about the Hound, and there's a whole big speech the Holy Man does about broken men.
Also,
the Hound is coming back.
Arya has picked up a sword and is heading back over because she decided the life of a servant of the Faceless Men just ain't for her, really.
No. No, well, fair enough.
So she's going to come back into the King's Landing just in time to see the Hound and be like, oh my God, he's alive.
But will she kill him? That's the big question.
No.
Well, as ever, let us know what you think in the comments below. Hit like if you like the video, and subscribe if you never want to miss another episode of the show. That's it from us for this week. Your watch has ended.
Oh God.